Inside and light so bright, we are awakened. Come and join our love, it's so.
The Awaken Radio Network is proud to announce our newest exciting adventure, Thrive, Evolutionary Consciousness Magazine. You can find out more about our new magazine by visiting our network website at awakenradio.net. Look up at the top where it says Thrive, Evolutionary Consciousness. There's a drop-down menu there that will allow you to discover how to write and submit your articles, poetry, or artwork to our magazine. There's also a menu for our advertising rates for the magazine. What a wonderful way to get your message out to the world, whether it's through an article, a poem, an artwork, or advertising to tell people about your product, book, service, or coaching. We would love to have you take part. We're also providing a group on Facebook. It is Thrive Magazine. And if you will check out the website, awakenradio.net, the link for the Facebook group is there. The group was created specifically so that all of our contributors could come together in one place to inspire, inform, and motivate one another. It also allows you to be a big part of the magazine. I love input from you. So take part in what we're doing at the Awakened Radio Network. Be part of our new magazine. We are reaching the globe, all around the globe, with the message that we do have the power to make changes. And when we work together, we co-create together, it is just more fun for all of us. Thank you so much. And visit awakenradio.net.
Welcome. You're now tuned in to your unfolding senses on Awakened Radio, a show about opening to your intuitive senses. I'm your host, Ragozzine, and I'm on the air every Thursday at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. This show is brought to you by intuitionbyrob.net, where I offer tips and techniques to help you explore your intuition. Please enjoy the show and invite your friends to join us here as well. Let's get started. Hello, this is Rob Ragozzine. You're listening to Your Unfolding Senses. Thanks for joining us. It's Thursday, May 15th, 2013. This is live. If you'd like to join us in the chat room, come to awakenedradio.net and click on the live chat tab, or you can join us on air by adding Awakened Radio to your Skype or dialing 334-649-7204. And you can bring your comments and any questions you might have about intuition or dreams or tonight's topic, which is focusing on the tarot. As you may already know, Your Unfolding Senses is about connecting to your intuition, your inner life, and your heart, essentially listening to your inner guidance, no matter your age, religion, color, creed, background, or ideology, making room in your life for your inner voice to shine through, mindfully stepping forward towards a life that matters, and seeing the world through new eyes. So what's this all about? Think of your intuition as perhaps a giant broadcast station. You can tune in and connect to and with whatever you need or want. You might think of your heart as a big dish, and it's constantly sending and receiving information. Your job is to pay attention to what that is. Begin to notice and connect with what's flowing into and out of your life. And are you tuned in to the channels that are uplifting, helping you to step towards the life of your dreams? Just notice what you're connecting to and listening to. Please feel free to call in and post and chat if you have any questions on past topics or dreams or anything that's really puzzling you intuitively. And if you're so inclined and if you enjoyed our other shows or even this show, donations are always greatly accepted. We're here for no cost to you, so you might find it in your heart to click at the donate button, which is at the top of almost all the screens at Awakened Radio. And sending thanks to Susan Kern, who is host of Magical Life Playground, who's on 2 hours before me, and Donna Devane with her show, who's on previous to mine, where I was on earlier this evening. And thank you for listening. And for the next hour, we'll make time and space to connect inward and make room for stillness. And I always tell people to let this space fill your heart and unfold out into your life. It might take some time and practice, but to create it and allow it in, and to give yourself the comfort and the opportunity, at least for an hour, to slow down, settle in, and open to your intuition. And with that in mind, we'll have a short meditation to help you do that. So as always, you might light a candle if that's something that speaks to you. You might have a pad and pen ready to answer or record your questions. And finding a comfortable space, whether it's sitting or lying down, and perhaps asking a question to yourself silently or out loud, and maybe even writing that question down. As we're talking about the tarot, you might ask, how can the tarot help to guide me, or how might I use the tarot to guide myself in my life? So finding a quiet space and sitting comfortably or lying comfortably and gently closing your eyes and beginning to breathe slowly and gently, releasing any stress from the day, breathing gently into yourself and your heart, letting go of any doubts or worries. Continue your breathing. Let your mind quiet and your body rest. Feel yourself feeling with peace and tranquility, bringing your focus to your heart. What has it been asking for? You might additionally bring your hands to your heart and feel its energy. Allow your awareness of your heart to deepen as you breathe and settle into the stillness. Feel all your senses open, grow, and deepen. Know that this is a special place where you can clearly hear your own inner voice, however it speaks to you. Be mindful of how this space feels. You might ask a question or notice any messages available to you within this space. Your inner ears might hear a word or phrase. Your inner vision might see a color, shape, or picture. Your inner smell might pick up a fragrance. Your inner taste might pick up a long-forgotten flavor. You might notice other sensations as well. Pay attention to these. If you don't understand what they mean, ask for deeper clarity. And allow whatever comes to come to you. And if nothing does, that's okay. Don't force anything to happen. Simply rest in the stillness and the inner peace. This could be the very thing your heart has been yearning for. Notice how your body feels in the time of stillness. And breathe into the parts of your body that feel tight or stressed and let that go. Allow yourself to feel the comfort of this space. Know that you can come here at any time. And as we prepare to leave, have and feel gratitude for this connection and any messages you received. And slowly, gently, bring your focus back to the room, opening your eyes, coming back to your body. Okay, tonight's focus is the tarot, and we'll get to that in a moment. I want to thank the anonymous people we have in the chat room, and I'm posting, I'll post the intuitive challenge into the chat room, and it doesn't seem to be working for some reason, but we'll get to that. Tonight's challenge is about a little bit different than what I normally do. It's an opportunity to connect in a new way. Normally we have a box and something in it. Tonight is a picture of a woman, and I'm asking you to determine who she is. And I've posted it for Donna to post into the chat room, and we'll see. I've also posted in the chat room, and I will post it into my forum after the show. So you can click the link and look at the woman and try to determine who she is intuitively, but don't force anything. If you have time and space, you might want to sit down and connect with the image and gently see what you see. You might sense that she was somewhere she grew up, or you might see an image. Whatever you feel coming towards you or sensing, whatever you sense, write that down, and eventually you can click. There's a solution to who she is at the bottom of the page. You can click through and see how accurate you were. Maybe you picked up something about her childhood. Maybe you picked up where she lived. Maybe you picked up something about her occupation or her family life. Whatever it is, record whatever you can find within yourself, or as you're listening to your heart or listening to your emotions or seeing images. As I was mentioning in the meditation, you might see something, you might hear something, you might smell something. Whatever it is, record that and see how accurate you were with the challenge. And then click through for the answer and see how accurate you were. That's all I ask. Give it a shot, and you might be surprised at how accurate you actually were. Again, don't stress out if you don't get anything at all. It's one of many different opportunities to learn more about your intuition, and I'm sure you'll probably get something, no matter how small. Don't dismiss it. I like to refer back to one of our challenges where I had a picture of an orchestra, and some people saw horns, but they dismissed the rest of the orchestra, even though they saw other people there. So whatever you get, write it down, and then when you think you're done, click on the solution and see who she is. Last week we had a guest, Susan Luras and Dans of Frontier Beyond Fear, and we talked about fear and taking leaps. This week we're talking about tarot, looking through the lens of tarot to learn more about courage, more about ourselves. And a lot of people look at tarot with confusion. They see it misrepresented on television or in the movies, and it's really not at all like how they show on television or movies. It's always usually some wise old person who no one ever talks to except when they want a reading. And then the card that always comes up is the death card, and the person who's going for the reading always leaves scared for some reason. But it's not at all like that, and it doesn't necessarily even mean death or whatever you think it means. It's an opportunity to look at your life perhaps and see what might be released or let go, or there's many opportunities to determine what it might mean depending on the situation. So think of the cards really as mini guided visual meditations. So you're actually seeing something that you might see in a meditation all condensed down into one little picture. It's a sort of a representation or a mirror of you. And they can link to stories that you're telling about yourself in your life. Really, it's about stepping away from doubt and fear and not being in fear of the images. So it's actually connected a lot to looking at within and looking at your shadow. And we've talked about that before. It's really what we're not willing to look at ourselves, both the good and the bad. So stepping away from doubt and fear. And what has helped me is to look for ways to connect with the fun and the joy, and perhaps to spend purposeful time with just this. So as you would spend regular time exercising and taking care of yourself, this is another way. So you might spend time scanning through your cards and learning about them. If you don't have a deck, to find a deck that speaks to you. And most people, since it's so common, start with the Rider-Waite deck. But there's many, many more decks available. And these days, I guess you can go online and pick out a deck very easily, but it wasn't so in the past without the internet. And most bookstores carried that. Now, today, they carry dozens of them, but that's still very popular. And find one that speaks to you. As we're speaking about courage, I have a quote. Okay, we have a caller.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, Rob?
This is Rob.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I was hoping you could do a reading on me.
Yes. Is this Monique?
Yes, I go by Isha, but it's Monica is my given name. Correct.
Okay. Well, what is your question?
My question is, I guess, do I have to ask like an open-ended, like what types of questions can I ask? I mean, yes or no, ones that will respond in yes or no, or can I actually like ask a question about time frame, about if I want something and how long it's going to take to achieve that? Like, just I've never done this before, so it's my first time.
Well, we can just work with general direction. Where do you want to go, for instance?
Okay, well...
and you were I believe we were talking about recurring numbers.
Yes.
So I think we can talk about that because that really pertains to a lot of people. A lot of people are seeing like 111 when they wake up at night, or when they look up in the clock and they see 111 or 222 or 333. So I think that's a good place to start.
Okay. Yeah, that would be me.
And really, as I'm talking about tarot, I think they're really just symbols. They're not anything to be afraid of. That's the first thing to realize. It's not something to be afraid of. It's guidance.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Just like a dream, there's some sort of healing wisdom within that message, just like any message, really. And since you're seeing them with such repeating, with so often, repeating.
Every day.
Every day.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing I really recommend, I don't know if I told you this, was to really start a journal about how you feel before you see them and how you feel after you see them. Okay. So it's developing a better and deeper connection with your body, just to notice how you feel when you're in that moment. Is it stress? Are you feeling stressed?
Oh, absolutely not. I feel it's actually the opposite. I feel very I feel connected. I feel connected to a greater power. I feel connected to the divine. I'm on the spiritual high when I see it. I'm smiling ear to ear. Like it's a wonderful feeling when I do see that. when I see any sequence of threes.
But that's after. How do you feel before?
Before seeing them?
Yes.
Like
just before. So you're doing something, you're washing the dishes.
Yeah.
And then
just my ordinary, just depending on how my day is going, I don't feel I wouldn't say like really sad or really happy. It's just kind of just normal every day, whether I'm washing dishes or doing laundry or like I'm a stay-at-home mom and a writer. So it usually happens when I leave the house, to be honest, is when I step outside. That's when I usually get the sequences. So it's just nice.
That's a really good clue.
Yeah, yeah. Really? Okay, yeah, to get outside.
Because we can look at the house as a representation of us in our life. So when there's movement, when there's activation, when you're doing something, these numbers come to you.
Yeah.
So it's not when you're stepping out into non-ordinary life, the numbers come.
Yes. Yes.
So to me, that's a message. An important part of the message is to look at how you view life. It isn't just this is ordinary and this is magic. It's all magic.
It's all magic, yeah. That makes sense.
And to not, this is a big one for me, is to not compartmentalize, not to put everything into boxes. So this belongs here, this person belongs in this box, this activity belongs in this box. No, it's all part of the same big thing called life. And it's all magic. It all has importance. It all has meaning. It's all vital. Washing the dishes, going out to meet friends.
Yeah.
It's all
absolutely.
It's all vital.
Yeah, no, it's even meeting friends, right? You get messages to sort of guide you, and if you don't go and do those things, sometimes you're missing, you're missing those. So it's very important to have that balance of stepping out and doing different things, especially as like, for me, whereas I'm, most of the time I am at home, so.
And have you moved?
Yes.
So that's why I think the messages are even more important, because it's connecting to the specialness, to make more space for that, to make sure that you're aware of how special life is, because now you're in a new space.
Yes, absolutely.
And you're settling in, trying to find new friends, new people, new situations.
Yeah.
So it's very important to understand that the overall guidance is one that's healing and compassionate. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely, and I do feel that. We moved here in August, so that's when we moved, and it's just I'm just in awe half the time, surrounded by beauty, nature, trees, the birds, the sounds, the smell. It's really wonderful. It really is wonderful when I do step outside, and whether I'm with friends or on my own, it's like I'm looking at everything with, like a fresh new pair of eyes, right? And it is that because we're in a different place, so everything is new, and it's nice to have that excitement when looking at things and trying to figure things out and meeting people and finding myself, how I fit into everything here and why we're here in the first place, just that transition, because it's been a wonderful transition.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it is, absolutely.
So you're really unconsciously following the guidance of the numbers anyway.
Yeah, well, before we moved, I asked, I call, you can say universe, universal God, the source. I said to God, to the universal God, I said, please show me a sign that this is a good change. When I found out last year that we were going to be moving, and it just kind of happened really quickly, and almost, within an hour, I was given a sign, and kind of like this is a great change. It was that, sort of like confirmation that this is for the best, and to go and to absolutely be content and to go forward, because change is hard for people, right? Like, not everybody embraces change. Most of us actually resist it. We get comfortable in a place. I have 3 young children, and everything's new, and it's stressful when you have to pick up and go to a new place. But as soon as I received that sign, I was like, well, there's going to be a lot of magic and miracles here, and it's kind of the go ahead, like, this is the place that this is where you're going to be placed, and it's embracing that, really.
So, what do you think they still have for you? Obviously, the numbers are still there with frequency.
Yeah. They are.
Excuse me?
Sorry, pardon. Go ahead.
I was just wondering if you had done any intuitive connecting to them in addition.
No, I haven't. No, I have, and that's what I want to do. Is besides the fact that I feel like it's a wondrous feeling when I do see the numbers. I just, if there's messages, I absolutely want to tap into. I do want to find out what those are, especially if they can help me. As I mentioned, release, because I do believe there's a strong connection with seeing these numbers and clearing some childhood traumas that I spoke to you about. So I just feel like this is, if I get the messages, I'll be able to. It'll help me to get one step closer.
I think sometimes it might help to look at them as shapes and symbols. So to almost look at the ones as doorways. So what's the next doorway to go through? What's the next leap to take?
Yeah.
So what is your heart asking you to do that you've been holding back on?
What is my heart asking me to do?
That's something that you can ask yourself. You don't have to tell me right now.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
Something that you've really been pushing aside, saying, no, I can't do that. It's impossible. What about this? What about that? To look at that and to own your own power, to really acknowledge what you're doing for yourself. And that's a lot of the message of the one, is to what you want to create, what you want to bring out into the world, what needs to be birthed.
Mm-hmm. What about so there's numbers. What about letters? Like, I also see letters as well. Like, again, in sequences of 3.
Letters?
Mm-hmm.
Which letters?
Like, it's from the past 2 years, like all different ones.
Well, just like today.
So S's. So 3 S's.
S's?
Mm-hmm.
So think of it maybe as the shape of the S is sort of sliding and smooth. So think of it almost as a snake.
Mm-hmm.
So think of what you might let go of or release. Interestingly, this is the Chinese year of the water snake.
And actually, I'm a snake, so that I'm
a
like
snake.
Yeah.
So to ask, what can I shed now? What can I let go of?
Mm-hmm.
What can I allow into my life? What do I need to shift? We only have a minute till break, so we can continue this after break. But just to think about that, we have to play our commercials and such. But when we come back, we'll talk a little more about this.
Okay.
website for your conversation convenience is located at www.awakenradio.net. We are the interactive, love to connect with our listeners radio station. Head on over to awakenradio.net. Look at the top of the page. You'll see our navigation bar with a drop-down menu. Take part in our live chat room. Find out more about our shows and our hosts. While you're there, check out our forum. We would love to hear from you. What do you think about the latest topic that was discussed on the airwaves? Tell your favorite host how much you enjoyed their programming. If there's something you'd like for us to talk about, well, the forum is the perfect place for you to let us know about that. Join the Awaken Radio Network at awakenradio.net. There are many ways to interact with us. You have a live call-in number. You can use our chat room. You can interact with us through the forums. Plus, we have a Facebook fan page. That is facebook.com/Awakened Radio. We would love to interact with you. Check us out on Twitter at Awakened Radio. Thank you so much for listening to and being part of the Awakened Radio Network. AwakenedRadio.net.
Thank you for joining me, Rob Ragozzine, here on my show, Your Unfolding Senses. Please feel free to join us in the chat room or call us here at Awakened Radio with your intuition or healing questions. Simply dial 334-649-7204 or add Awakened Radio to your Skype. Okay. Are you still there, Monica?
Yes, I'm still here.
So what I'm seeing is there's some skill or tool. I'm seeing a hammer. So there's something that you want to learn about?
Something I want to learn about?
I'm asking. I don't know. I'm looking at the snake as an opportunity to learn something new that you haven't learned yet.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's always nice to learn new things, but...
But there's nothing in particular that you've been holding off on?
Well, there's a lot of things. I have 3 really young children, so, I mean, just trying to balance their schedules and, a very busy life. And my writing, sort of puts everything else
on hold.
Yeah, on hold, so to speak. I mean, there's only so many hours in the day, right? So, yeah, but actually it's funny that you meant archery is one thing that I was pretty excited about. They had the YMCA here in my town. They had we went there for like a family dinner with my daughters, and they were doing, they're doing arch, like they were able to like just play around a little bit, and I was just like, oh, do you have this for adults? Can I have a turn? It's just, something different, something new. But it's, one thing that came up. But there's like numerous other things that that playing the guitar, just being there's a lot of things that I'd like to do that I haven't done in my past, and now it's just probably the busiest time of my life. Like, I'm sure things will get less as each year goes by. I'll have more time to do stuff that...
It's about now, though. It's now.
I know.
It's about building your life now. It's not putting life on hold. That's part of the message. Mm-hmm. So having compassion for yourself and finding a way to do one of these things that you're saying, I wish,
mm-hmm.
it's to do it now.
Yeah.
That's the message.
Well, actually, the writing thing was,
that's how you're earning your living.
Yeah.
So in addition to the writing, you need to you don't need. There's no shoulds here, but it's a calling from your heart to find another way to express yourself. So go and take an archery course. Go and learn the guitar.
Yeah.
And then the messages, I'm not saying they'll stop, but they'll lessen. And then something new will come into your heart, and you'll feel bigger and more expansive because you're allowing yourself to express what wants to be expressed.
In different ways.
In different ways. So who knows what you learn about yourself by shooting arrows or plucking strings. So go and try that.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Makes a lot of sense.
Well, thank you for calling in. I hope this has helped.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. So the key thing here is to recognize that you're getting a message, and then not just to say, I had a dream or I had a message, but to follow where it's leading you and go and try to incorporate that into your life. Just like tarot, it's not just about reading the cards, it's about incorporating their message into your life. And as I'm looking through the chat room, I see that David picked up on a lot of things of the secret identity of the woman. So I'm glad that you did. And now you see how easy it is to, well, not easy necessarily, but how accurate you can be if you're just open to your intuition. So continuing with the tarot talk, we're talking about tarot as a way to look at how we can move past our doubts and our fears and develop courage. Mark Twain says, courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. So it's not about cutting out fear. It's about simply having less resistance. And tarot can be one way to do that. It can help you reflect and look for possibilities and options instead of getting caught in the worry and the doubt of the fear of the unknown. And again, I was talking about how in movies or TV we see this old craggly person who hands you a card that says that's the death card or the devil, and the person leaves screaming. Well, that's not how it works. The cards all have different meanings, and the death card might mean an ending, sure, but it usually means something else. It might mean transformation. It might mean a new beginning. Who knows? It really depends on the situation and where you're at in your life. And a simple way to really begin learning about the tarot is not to go with all the crazy 10, 15 card spreads. Just pick one card and ask to be shown whatever you might need to know right now. So draw one card and ask that question. What do I need to know now? And work with that one card. That can be very helpful. Of course, if you're very new to the tarot, I really recommend scanning through all of your cards and learning what they look like and to get comfortable with them. So first, before you ever begin doing any readings, scan through them. And if it came with a book, I want to say, toss that book in the trash. But you don't have to do that. You can put it in a drawer somewhere. You don't need it. If you took part in tonight's exercise, you can easily connect to your intuition and just use that. And put the book aside for after you've been using the tarot for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year. Then go and see what the book says about meaning. But I think you'll understand that you don't need it when you finally do go there. So some more helpful questions that you might ask are, how can I ask for support? So if you're looking for help, you can go to the tarot and say, how can I get it? Or, as I was talking about before, what is my heart calling for now? Or, what guidance do I need now? Is this choice for my greater good? Or, what do I need to know about this person? And finally, what can I learn from this experience? These are good starter questions to get you to open to the tarot. So I'll have those in my forum, and you can use those to really get comfortable with the one-card readings. It's easier than trying to learn some big multi-card spread, and it's really not necessary because one card can provide a lot of detail. When you're ready to do a reading, it's helpful to, as if you were meditating, to find a quiet and comfortable space where you can slow down and settle your mind and have time for reflection. You might even have a separate room or a separate table where you keep your cards, and maybe if you use stones and crystals, you can work with those too. I have an article in the new magazine that we're publishing on the 20th that talks about this. So you can use stones that relate to intuition, like iolite, for instance, and maybe you have jewelry with iolite or a necklace. Well, that's jewelry, but you get the point. Or you can just have a simple stone on the table with you to connect more deeply to the cards. So choosing just one card and then asking your question and pulling that one card, and again, don't be afraid of it, but do notice your reactions when you draw that card. What does it look like? How does it feel? As a intuitive exploration, before you flip the card over, scan it so you're not seeing the picture. Before you see the picture, scan it. Notice, for instance, does it feel hot? Does it feel cold? There's 4 elements that are explored within the tarot. We have the pentacles, which is earth. We have the cups, which is water. We have the wands, which is fire. And we have the swords, which is air or space, I guess. So just to notice, is it one of these cards? We also have the minor and the major arcana, 22 major arcana cards, which are special in that they don't have a particular suit with the pentacles, swords, wands, or cups. But they all tell a story, and they all have some element related to them. Just to notice what elements that you notice, how the card feels. Does it feel heavy? Does it feel light? Does it feel bright, colorful, cheery, or dark, or depressing, or happy, or just run-of-the-mill? And to notice what images come to your mind before you even flip the card over. And again, you might want to have your journal there and record what you think, what you feel that you perceive about the card before you even flip it over. And that can help you with the interpretation as you progress. And something that you might try that I've been working with is to use your card to do a meditation. So before you can answer your question, you can write down your answers, and then you can do a meditation to step right into the card and explore that way. And we'll do that shortly, right now, I guess. So for this example, I've pulled the Hierophant. Now, if you don't know what that is, you can do a quick Google search. I'll post a link to it in the forum, and you'll see that it's a man sitting in a chair, and in the Rider-Waite deck, there's two people kneeling in front of him, and there's keys in the air, I believe. I don't typically use the Rider-Waite deck very often. I have another deck called the alchemical deck. But anyway, we will do the meditation. So closing your eyes and imagine holding the card in your hand while your eyes are closed. Then see the card growing and expanding and placing it in front of you as it grows to the size of a doorway. You step through. Here, you meet your guide. Today, it's the Hierophant. Notice his red robes. Notice the other people here. When you enter the card, he notices you. He turns towards you. What does he say to you? Does he give anything to you? Do the other people in the card notice you or say anything to you? What else is happening here? Do whatever feels appropriate for you. Perhaps you might kneel in front of the Hierophant and ask for guidance. Talk with the Hierophant in any way that's appropriate for you and ask questions that you need to ask. Perhaps you walk up and shake his hand. Ask for clarity if you need it. And when you're done, thanking him in any way that's appropriate, bowing or kneeling or shaking his hand, and stepping back through the doorway and finding yourself back in the room holding your card. Now, how did that feel? When you're more familiar with the card, you'll obviously have more imagery to work with, more vibrant colors to work with, and you might have a deeper way to explore. And in the chat room, Donna mentioned she sometimes uses a vision crystal when reading the card, and I was talking about using the iolite. Well, you can use the vision crystal or whatever speaks to you. Just because the iolite relates to intuition, I was mentioning that, but there's other crystals and stones you can work with. So you might use that to do the guided meditation and explore that way. What's important here is to really find a way to begin reading the cards on a regular basis. You might pull a daily or weekly card, as I've been talking about in many of the past shows. And as I was writing the article for the magazine, I pulled a card that I asked about a question about writing the article. How could I best support myself, and how can I best write an article? And I pulled the Eight of Pentacles from the Rider-Waite deck. And as I mentioned before, when you're reviewing your card, you want to use all of your senses to connect with its meaning for you. And for me, as I use my senses on that card, what always comes up for me is hard work. It's because the character on the card looks like he's been working hard, but this time I had sort of a new impression because it looked like, although he's certainly working hard, the projects that he's working on, because he has 8 pentacles, look like they might be spaced out. He might take his time and come back at various times and work when he has to work and set aside his work and then come back later and go do other things in the meantime. So it really gave me quite a bit of a new perspective in that it really helped me to focus on not being so laser focused, for instance. So not to worry about is this project done versus how can I bring time and space in for other things while I'm doing this. So it really gave me an opportunity to look at my life as I was writing this article and preparing for radio shows. And last week I had an interview on my radio show, so preparing for that, preparing for this week, preparing for a bunch of other stuff too. How do I juggle all that? Well, the answer is it's not so much worrying about the juggling as worrying about what I'm not doing, what I'm doing in the downtime. And am I enjoying myself in the downtime and making downtime? So for me, I had a whole expansive outlook on that one card, and it's only really one card instead of, as I was talking about before, a 10 or 15 card spread. And you can get that detail, sure, in those big spreads, but as you can see, this one particular card gave me a whole lot of insight. So right there can be great guidance, and you can use that. And as we talked about the meditation, you can step into the card and explore it that way. So again, going back to using all your senses, it's not only what you see, it's how you feel about the card and what memories come up and so on and so forth. And if you read the article, you will notice a lot of what I'm talking about within yourself. And we only have about 5 minutes left, so I will continue this particular discussion in coming weeks. Now, let me share some of our links here as we're ending our show. To come to my forum, you want to come to awakenedradio.net, and at the top of the page, click on the forum tab, and then you can go to the Awaken Radio Show's interaction, and then come to Your Unfolding Senses, and you'll see my forum. And in there, there's a link to contact me. You can email me through that link. And my website is intuitionbyrob.net. And you can contact me there too. Now, I talked about the magazine, so that's coming out next week on the 20th, so be on the lookout for that. I think we had, I think it was about 15 different people participating, so there's many, many different articles in there from all kinds of different people, some of us being hosts here at the station, but also some non-hosts, some listeners. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope you'll check that out. And there's even a contest that Donna embedded within there, so if you find, I guess it's a secret word, you get to win a special prize. I'm not sure what it is, but there's a contest within the magazine. And of course, we have the donate buttons at the top of every page, and you can also go to the store for gemstones, healing kits, dream catchers, and whatnot, and get a reading from me right there. And my Facebook page. You can reach me at Rob Ragozzine, and you can reach me on Twitter at Intuition by Rob. So I think those are all my contact numbers. And I think what's important really as we're working with our tarot is to really make a decision to break through some of your barriers to being afraid of the imagery or being doubtful, and finding the courage to truly want to work with it and then see what unfolds for you. Be willing to explore and have fun with it, and before you know it, you'll be an expert and reading for your friends and family. And at that time, you might want to get a second deck that's just for others and have one for yourself. So that's your homework assignment for this week, which is go get yourself a deck if you don't have one, and then feel into what you need to really work with your deck. Do you need a special box for your deck? Do you need to wrap it in a cloth? Do you need to work with crystals? And start slow. Don't go out and get everything at once. Just get the deck and then notice how it feels as you shuffle it and where it would like to be stored. And obviously, I mentioned in the article, treat it with respect like you would a book, your favorite book, so store it somewhere special. And I'm not sure of our time frame right now. My timer isn't on. We have 3 minutes left. So I will mention some questions that you might ask once you get your card. One of them is, why did I get this card? So to look at the card, and maybe you pulled this card and you've been doing it every day for a week, and 4 days out of 5 you got the same card, and you're amazed because now you're wondering, well, why did I get this card? So make time to wonder why you actually got your card. And another question you might ask is, does the card remind me of a past experience? So to notice what experiences your card really reminded you of and record that. Does the card remind me of a scene from a TV show or movie? Again, noticing which modes of entertainment your particular card reminded you of, that might help you to really do some in-depth analysis. Maybe you really enjoyed that TV show. Look to that for some important guidance. The next question is, does this character represent someone in my life? So does it represent a person that you have respect for? Does it represent a person that you really don't like at all? Maybe it's some time for some shadow work and to look inside and to see where those qualities are within you and honoring that, whether it's good or bad. So if it's good, to really help those qualities shine, and if it's not so good, maybe to look at how you might exercise those qualities out. How does this card make me feel? That should always be an important question. Which characters are you attracted to or repelled by on the card? And we're about done, so thanks for joining me tonight. If you have any questions related to the tarot, please feel free to email me or tweet me or Facebook me, and I'll be glad to help you answer those questions. Have a great week. I'll be back next week, 8 p.m., Thursday.
Awakened Radio, your people-powered, online, always on, always something interesting, motivating, inspiring to listen to. Awakened Radio at awakenedradio.net. Find out how to host your own show. Take part in our shows. Interact with us on our forums. Shop at our Awakened store. There's always a lot of excitement happening at Awakened Radio. awakenedradio.net. Visit us and take part today.
Cause we're awakened, you won't catch us sleeping through the fight in life. We're all eyes open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened, come and join our love, it's so right. If you could feel what we feel now, you'd be a leader filled with might. Cause we're awakened.